Sagittarius, a wonderful good morning to you. Good to see you here. I am doing your oracle reading for July. This is about the recent past, this is about the present, this is about the future. These are my oracle cards. These are my cards with quotes from the ancient Chinese book The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And they're fantastic for conflict, reflection and resolution. And as always, I have one card here that I use that shows a scene from a fairy tale. And as you can see, for you Sagittarius this month, this is Little Red Riding Hood. And they're quite old paintings. This one is, let me see, Gustave Doré, 1832 till 1883. So this is quite old, beautiful painting, and I'm going to use this at the very end. Sagittarius, as you can see, this is a new channel. Like and subscribe, and if anything resonates here with you, if you find anything helpful at all in this reading, leave a comment and let me know what exactly resonated with you. This is a general reading. You know how it goes, Sagittarius. Not everything is going to resonate with all of you. So let us get started, and we're beginning right here. And the card for your recent past is Atonement. Let me bring this card a little bit closer so you can see. So this woman has swords run through her body, and there's, let me just quickly see, there's drops of water falling from her hands instead of blood. And this is a beautiful card, quite sinister. It reminds me a little bit of the Ten of Swords in the traditional tarot deck. So Atonement. Sagittarius, what is this about? Let me quickly take a moment and meditate on this. Sagittarius, this card has such a stoic energy. There's a sense of relaxation about this person here, but it really is just a relaxation that comes from a feeling of defeat. This does not necessarily mean that that all is lost, but Atonement, this is really a very specific card. I find it quite interesting. Atonement in this sense means that you went through a phase of deep reflection, self-reflection, because things in your life didn't go the way you wanted them to go. And you were actually having the courage and the bravery and the strength and the strong spine to look at your part in the situation and to see really where maybe you went wrong. And that takes an enormous amount of strength. This is probably the hardest thing to do. And to make up for things if possible. Atonement. But it also means that you were trying to find closure in a situation where only you could do that. Sometimes we're not getting closure from other people. Sometimes we're just getting closure from ourselves. So by you doing the lion's share of the work, the inner work, the emotional healing work, by you showing the willingness to accept your part in it, you are actually creating closure for yourself. Now, when I'm saying this, Sagittarius, of course, this is not victim blaming, what I'm doing here. What I mean is, I also don't mean, by the way, that there's always two sides to the story. I don't think necessarily that's always the case, frankly. I think sometimes it can be very much the case that the vast majority of things that went wrong because of one part of the two in the connection. So what I mean by this is that it's more about your willingness to look at the situation objectively, and where you felt you could have done something differently, you're not shying away from this, and that shows enormous inner strength. So this is very good already. The stoic element of giving up, I feel there's such a strong energy coming from this card right now that is about seeing no hope, giving up, and relaxing into that situation of there's nothing more left that I can do. And there's something liberating about this, but it's also, it comes with a feeling of depression. So for those of you Sagittarius for whom this is valid, you have not been well and you have been very, very down. Let's see what the quote by Sun Tzu says. It says, ponder and deliberate before you make a move. And the interpretation of this card is, plan ahead, don't make it up as you go along. Life is full of decisions. Some people put them off or ask for advice. Others simply stick a pin in a list. In reality, you need to use intuition, reason, or a combination. Intuition is more suited to simple or quick decisions. More complicated reasoning requires a formal, structured approach using reason, facts, and figures to decide whether the answer they lead to is right. Okay, very, very good. Sagittarius, so I had the right feeling about that element of lethargy there. But it's not just lethargy, it's that there's more flow to it. It's not really stagnation, it's more a flow state. And that goes hand in hand with what I already said with regard to your self-reflection, you going inside. Ponder and deliberate before you make a move. Okay, you are effectively, you're resting, you're biding your time. You see what you can do now that you feel nothing can be done. What does this mean? It means that, of course, life goes on, as painful as this may be. One situation changes into another. At this point, you felt that one situation was over, but you did not know yet what would come next. And this quote tells you not to blindly and without a plan rush into the future from this, but plan ahead. Don't make it up as you go along, as it says. So look at your options and don't just allow for the flow to carry you away with it, because your flow state in the recent past was that of depression and of hopelessness. So you do not want to get carried away by this. You want to give structure to your mind, to your thoughts, and you want to make a plan. Okay? How about the present? Oh wow, that's a bit of a change. Sagittarius, plot twist. From atonement, from depression, from apathy, from hopelessness to revenge. Revenge, of course, is a feeling that comes with anger. And anger is not lethargic. Anger is a feeling that is very much in motion, or it wants to push things to be set in motion. So here, let me see if I can, yes, it focuses now. So this is a beautiful picture. So you see how, this is extraordinary. So you see how she is holding two swords, and you see how she has these huge, massive angel wings, but they look like the branches of a tree. So that's a sign for growth. So those swords are not there to cut down the tree that has just grown. So self-growth, this is wonderful. So creativity, self-growth, healing, but all that with with quite an edge, and it's the edge of those two swords. Maybe there's a desire for revenge. Maybe there is the feeling that you've been wronged. Maybe there's the feeling that you can't move anything in the situation if you're not going into the depths of these feelings. Okay? And as always, Sagittarius, please understand that to feel these feelings is not a bad thing, but to act upon them is quite a different matter. So, when a card like this shows up, it does not mean that this is a suggestion. It does not mean, straighten your crown and take your best swords out of your cupboard and just go after the enemy, whoever this may be. This is not what this is about. These cards are all about energy. Okay, so you feel that, but there's so much movement in this card. And while she is standing still, this is not the same standing still of the Atonement card. This one is a person who's gathering her energy to make her next move. And if anger is pushing that forward, then so be it, then that's not a bad thing. Anger does not need to be a bad sign or a bad emotion. We don't need to feel bad about it. But we need to watch out that we're not cutting down the branches of the tree that we grew, because there was healing after this. Maybe we haven't noticed it yet, but it's actually happening. It's kind of happening behind our back, if you wish, but the growth is there and the healing is there. So let us see what the quote says. Okay, it says, if words of command are not clear and distinct, if orders are not thoroughly understood, then the general is to blame. But if his orders are clear and the soldiers disobey, then it is the fault of their officers. How interesting. And the interpretation on the other side says, communicate effectively. It is very easy to think that someone understands what you're trying to say just because you do. In all interactions, in person, on the phone, text or email, ensure that what you are saying is clear, distinct and understood. Give examples. Think carefully about your words and ask them what they think you have said to avoid errors in communication. This is incredibly useful. Sagittarius, whenever you have an argument with someone, or when you have a discussion where it's absolutely paramount that both parties truly understand each other and hear each other, do the following. Let the other person speak, hold back for the moment and really want to listen to them. Really open your mind, calm down your inner demons, I almost said, your rage, the racehorse that of your emotions and your thoughts that wants to jump forward and wants to be heard so much that they're running danger not to hear what the other person wants to say. Okay, so hold your horses, be open-minded and truly listen to that person, no matter what they're saying. And then before you then answer, what you need to do is repeat back to them what you think they meant. Did you mean this and this? Did I understand you correctly that you mean this and this? And only once the other person, or when the other person says, yes, you have understood me correctly, only then their position is clear. And only then you can now bring in your position, and then you'll do it the same way. Now you get your say. Now the other person is required to truly listen with an open mind and open heart, and then repeat back what you just said so that there are no misunderstandings. This is a danger of misunderstandings. And I've just given you the tool. I have not invented it, by the way, that's not by me, but I have just given you the tool and shared with you how you can communicate effectively, as it says here. It's very, very important for you right now. And this could be job related, that could be with regard to a romantic relationship, that could be with regard to your parents. And when it comes to revenge, of course, this is a feeling that is very hot, very fiery, very intense. That is a feeling where we don't really want to calm the hell down and sit still and listen to what the other person has to say. So Sagittarius, watch out for this. Don't jump into an argument or into a situation that is while you're being fueled with anger and rage, where you just maybe want to hurt that person even because you feel so hurt yourself. If you want to find closure in a situation, make sure that those important conversations that you're having with this person in question are as effective as possible, so that afterwards you don't have to ask yourself, have I really tried everything? Could I have communicated more effectively? Could I have made the other person feel more safe to open up with me? What truths would have come to the surface? Because if you're communicating fueled by revenge and anger, perhaps even hatred, chances are that you're not necessarily finding out the truth, and you need the truth as much as possible from the other person to find closure. Okay? Future. Oh, that's a beautiful card. It says forgetting oneself. Forgetting oneself. Very colorful a card for this deck. The deck doesn't have many vibrant colors, but I think this picture is just really well done. Forgetting oneself. Sagittarius, this can mean different things, and I want to invite you to meditate on which one of the options might be for you. Okay, forgetting oneself, it could mean that in the context of the revenge and the negative aggressive feelings that we just had, even though of course it's understandable that you have them, it can be that you are in danger of literally forgetting oneself. As one says, someone is so enraged that they might forget themselves if they're being provoked by that other person just one more time. If that is the case, Sagittarius, remove yourself from the situation, either until you feel calmer or for good. But make sure that while it's okay to feel your emotions, do not allow your emotions to run the show, shall we say. That is never a good idea. What this most likely much rather means is that in the situation that made you feel so misunderstood and so hurt and treated unfairly, in this situation you were for quite a long time soldiering on and trying to make the best of it, and in that process you have forgotten yourself. This is a card of forgetting yourself and changing into someone else whom we are not. So if we have feelings of revenge in the present, and here in the future is a card of forgetting oneself, make sure that the anger and the desire for revenge that you may be feeling now, or some of you may be feeling now, are not deciding your decisions and your actions that are then leading into the future. Do not allow for these feelings to shape your future, unless there are feelings that help you create a new situation, as in you're angry at your boss, you've been treated unfairly, you're going to maybe look for another job opportunity and remove yourself from that situation. You see what I mean? In that situation, you used your feeling of anger and being treated unfairly in a constructive way to change your situation for the better. And this is how this should be done. Forgetting oneself also means, of course, if you're being so absorbed by these feelings, it can be that they change you, that you one day, there's a danger that one day you look into the mirror and you're not recognizing yourself anymore. That means that you need to, this is taking quite a turn. make sure that you're not acting and reacting and changing in a way that then in the end is going to mirror the person who did these things to you in the first place. She has been backstabbed. You see how these swords, most of them, almost all of them, are behind her. They're sticking in her shoulders and her back. This is a backstabbing thing. Yes, you're right to feel angry. Don't take more responsibility for anything negative in the situation than is truly yours. Atonement. Yes, try to see clearly, and also try to see that sometimes blaming either yourself too much or the other person is not what's going to drive you forward. Anger is not going to drive you forward. Or shall we say, resolve that inner conflict. What is going to lead to a solution of this intensity, of this knot of emotions that are stuck together in this ball of energy that she has? Almost, it feels to me right now as if she has this stuck in her chest and she just needs to get it out. She wants to release it in this almighty war cry and battle, and it's not the way to go. What is going to show you the right way, what is going to make you happy, is to retrieve those parts of yourself that you were forgetting along the way. All the colors, all the variety, all the liveliness, it's all behind him. Those are parts of his personality. Whatever it was in this connection with this person that made you forget yourself, forget about yourself, forget about parts of yourself. You see what I mean? Find out what those parts are and then reconnect with them. Reabsorb them into your being. And if it should be the case, I'm getting a strong feeling of you not being able right now to truly trust your inner voice. I don't know if that was because you gaslit so much that you felt you need to take more responsibility for certain things as you actually should have. There's more atonement that you're delivering than is actually necessary, is what I'm feeling here. If you can't trust your inner voice right now, if your inner voice is like two different voices that go against each other, or even more than that, if there's chaos inside your mind right now, what you need to do is find these parts of yourself that you lost along the way, those parts of you that were silenced. Journal about it, write it down, literally take a paper and a pen and write it down, or you can type it of course as well, but there's something very effective and very nice about the tangibility of holding a pen and writing something down on a piece of paper. It's something material, you then hold it really in your hand and it becomes more real, and in that sense I feel one can deal with it better and more directly. So once you have retrieved all these parts of yourself that you have lost along the way, your inner voices, because now there are several, they're not just one inner voice, your inner voices are going to merge together to one individual voice of truth that is then your true individual inner voice, that comes from not this fragmented battlefield of several parts of yourself. You know, one bit of you is lying over there, the other is over there, one seems to be lost for good, one you can't even remember what it was. Once you bring all of this back, the colors are going to come back into your personality, the colors are going to come back into your life, and as I already said, the inner voice is going to be clear, distinct and obvious. When you then, after this process, go inside yourself and stay calm and quiet for a moment. And really try to go within and listen to what your heart tells you, what you should do next. That's what you have to do, right? But of course, when you do this, make sure you're safe. Make sure it's sensible, reasonable, but don't be in your head about it. You see what I'm trying to say? Balance your head and your heart, because if one of the two is running the show, that's not balance either. Just as, just having a few parts of your personality this kind of fragmentation can never lead to a balanced and peaceful ending. You need to make order within yourself first. And that very, very likely is going to include letting go of the desire for revenge, but allowing yourself to feel the justified anger to the full. Feeling it, not acting on it, mind you. Okay? So, what about this one here? Our last quote, let's have a look. Sun Tzu said, "The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service for his sovereign, is the jewel of the kingdom." And the interpretation of this is, you can't be friends with everyone. Okay, how interesting. Here it says, Sagittarius, friends do what they do because they are our friends and we love them. They do it because they know it is the right thing to do. But while some people can be our friends, others cannot. The difference is that friends can be inconvenient, annoying, troublesome, expensive and taxing, but we will forgive them. You can't be friends with everyone. Okay, Sagittarius, you're going to have a wonderful network of friends in the future. This is fantastic. You probably have them already now, but this is a circle that likely, as it looks to me here, is going to grow. Of course, you have to seek it out to make it happen. But this is, of course, great support. Mind you, once you have reintegrated all the parts of your personality that you have lost along the way, through all your trials, through your dark night of the soul, through your hopelessness, through your backstabbing moments, through your feelings of rage and revenge. Once you have reintegrated all of this, which is true healing, you're healing not just your heart and your mind, you're healing your whole personality by this. Once you have done all of that and all the parts of yourself are there again, please understand that this also means that you are the beautiful, amazing, powerful and interesting and complex individual and personality that you're supposed to be. That means also, though, that you're not part of the grey mass anymore. That's part of the hopelessness moments. That's part of, just holding still and hoping for the horror to be over. In the moment we show up as who we really are, with all that means, we are not for everyone anymore. And it could be that this is the last bit in a very important process for you, moving away from the terror towards happiness that needs to take place. So do not worry if you're losing maybe friends along the way, or if you're losing romantic partners who can't deal with who you really are. You know what I'm saying. That's for toxic people, of course. I'm not telling anyone to leave anyone or anything like this. This is about energy, right? So you decide what you should do in your life. You're the master of your own fate. Listen, can I just quickly tell you, I'm absolutely convinced that this is true. That what we do here with regard to the energies and interpretation of the cards and channeling all the messages and the energies, yes, absolutely, that is real, as in I feel the energies and I I see what it tries to tell me here with regard to your situation, or the situation of some of you. But if I told you this and this is going to happen, and you need to do this and this in order for this and this to take place, you see how much power I would take away from you. And I don't want to do this. I want for this little bit of inspiration to be empowering to you, Sagittarius. And if I want you and anyone who's watching my readings to be empowered and stronger and have the tools to turn their situation around in a way that their life is getting better, then I cannot be basically I can't play the master of your fate by telling you this and this is going to be exactly that way. Because one of the most powerful things that we can do, Sagittarius, is use our free will to make our own choices, to make our own decisions. This is just about giving you some help to feel within you and see what you have to watch out for so that you can change things for the better. But the ultimate choice in which direction you go is absolutely up to you. And that's a good thing. It will make you stronger in the end. Okay, so if you're losing people along the way as you're getting more and more yourself, let them go gracefully, let them go in peace. They were not for you. You will have, in the wake of this, a lot of people that will say, oh, look at this interesting individual, look how colorful, look how interesting. I would love to be their friend. So once you become more yourself, you stand out more, and so the people who are supposed to be in your life or who want to be your friend, they are going to be able to find you much, much better. Wonderful. Sagittarius, that was really quite dark, and it turned out so nice in the end. And now let's have a quick look at the fairy tale card. This is, of course, Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf is already in Grandma's bed and wearing her bonnet. And we could say, of course, it's kind of cute, especially in this drawing, you know, with the ribbon there and all. But, well, of course, it's the whole story of the wolf in sheep's clothing, if you wish, or in the grandmother's clothing. And I find quite interesting here that Little Red Riding Hood is really portrayed here as an actual child. And you see how she is looking at the wolf. I think it's quite interesting how okay, I'm trying to bring this a little bit closer. Have a look at her gaze. She is absolutely terrified. There is something so disturbing about the wolf in this bonnet. One could say, okay, this is hilarious, or this is kind of silly or so. But look at the look at the claws. Look at the eyes. The wolf is not showing the teeth, but you know, he's pretending something that he is not. And Little Red Riding Hood is absolutely, it's disturbing what she sees. There is something disturbing about this. It's not just fear. You see what I mean? This is not just fear. This is a very, very good picture, I find. A very, very good painting. It's almost as if she says, oh my God, how am I going to get out of the situation? And see how she covers herself a little bit as well, as for protection. And also because she feels vulnerable. So we know, of course, how the story ends. The predator is being found out as not being as innocent as he made himself to be. And when I say he, of course, that could be in this situation, if this is about a person in your life, a she as well. This is, you see, this is not how it works. It could be everything. So what needs to happen is that we see very, very clearly where we went wrong. We take responsibility for the things that we contributed, if we contributed to anything. And that could be, Sagittarius, that does not need to mean that we have really messed things up in a bad way. Maybe we have. But what it means really is, I mean, what it also can mean is how shall I put this? To take responsibility for maybe not having helped yourself sooner, something like that, and then not beat yourself up over this. Atonement in that context means you can learn from this and take the thoughts out of your body, or have your friends help you, have your future self help you take the thoughts out of your body, have your future self help you heal, and you're going to be whole. You can take some of the thoughts that were stuck in your back to defend yourself. This is some serious shadow work here right now. This is some serious stuff. Don't throw them all away. Take the two that you like the most, that you think you have the best feel in your hand, obviously all metaphorically speaking. Choose them and be strong, be a strong individual that can take care of herself. This is about standing in your power and not allowing others to mess with you anymore. It's your job then to find the right balance for this and not to destroy things that should not be destroyed. This is all about people seeing that you're not a pushover. You don't need to use the swords. You can't. It's just enough for you to have them. Okay? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And so what happens when you use the swords that someone pushed into your back and use them for your defense? What happens is that the predator is going to see you from 10 miles away, that you are not to be messed with. You're not that innocent girl. You might feel like this inside. You might feel wide-eyed and terrified inside. But know that you are now, at this point in your life, a different person. You're stronger, and you don't spook so easily anymore. And that means, of course, not only do we understand who the predator is, that he's not who he's pretended to be. We know exactly who this person is and how they work, how they operate. And that means also we are wise. We have gained wisdom. We know better now. We see things clearly now. See how wide open her eyes are. Yeah, this is pretty much it. And this card here, this I mean, I said already, a part of the meaning of this card is, it's possible that one forgets a part of oneself. But this card to me today feels so whole, so healed, so wholesome. It's, you know what this is like? You just look at the pictures here, Sagittarius. You see how the colors in these pictures are dull and cold, and she has the cold steel in her back. And this card has such a warm radiance. I bet you everything, Sagittarius, that the wounds in this person's back have completely healed. And this person, he is turning his back from the things he used to face in the past, helplessly and hopelessly. This is a card of, let's move to new horizons. The next chapter in your life is awaiting you. The next adventure is waiting for you. And you're going to meet it as a whole person, as who you really are, with all the wonderful colors of your personality. And you're doing so fearlessly. Because you have found your strength. Sagittarius, I thank you for a particularly inspiring reading. I know I was the one doing it, but I was communicating with you, so Thank you for I don't know why I don't know why I have the desire to thank you. I don't know, this is so strange, but I really do. Sagittarius, be safe, take good care of yourself, and this looks very, very good to me. You've clearly been through the ringer to the point of, you know, just letting everything go, but the closure that you have not found here, even though you tried so hard to create it, you're finding the closure the more you're putting the pieces of yourself together again, because it will create a greater distance between your true self and the past in which you suffered. So that will create a distance, and so the more you are with yourself, the more this is just going to fade away and it's going to be a distant memory. Very, very good, Sagittarius. Yes, again, take good care of yourself, be safe, be happy if at all possible, let all things go, don't take too much responsibility. You can do this, and as I said at the start, like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if anything of this resonated with you. I would love to know this. And yeah, new channel, and like and subscribe. Would love to have you in this club. And I wish you a wonderful day.